What's up, everyone, and welcome to Play Hard and Love Big Radio. Play Hard and Love Big Radio is the official podcast of Spotted Dog Yoga and Sup Shop, based out of Folsom, California. Check us out at spotteddogyoga.com. Play Hard and Love Big Radio is committed to bringing you the inspiring people and inspiring stories that are meant to help you connect to your center and live your life to the fullest. And today we have an amazing, inspirational guest with us that you're going to love. My good friend, Tori Turner. What's up, Tori Turner?
What's up, Nick Clark? Got to throw it in there. So,
hey, you can mimic me as much as you want to on this show. So nice to have you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Totally. Tori's hanging out in Spotted Dog Yoga right now. What does it feel like to be in there by yourself?
It's calm. I'm good. I did the 5:30 a.m. class. I'm good.
Yeah. Tori, when is it that you did your teacher training program with Spotted Dog?
When did I do that? Let's see.
Do you remember?
Yeah, was I pregnant with my first? I think I was pregnant with my first. So it had to have been 2017. I think we completed it in 2017. Yeah.
2017. That's amazing. Yeah. And we met before any of us had kids. Yeah. the life pre-kids.
It was like one after the other.
Right. Totally. And everything just changed for us, obviously. You know, one of the things that I love so much about you, Tori, is that you are a go-getter. You are 100% the kind of person that I want to have as a friend and somebody who, motivates me to get up and get going. And one of the things that Tori does with us, which is really cool, is that the last 2 or 3 years you've worked with us when we go down and teach the All-American Softball Organization.
Yeah.
And that's huge in the sense of giving back to the community, but also you have a huge background in playing softball, right?
I do. Yeah. So I played travel ball and up to high school, and played collegiate on scholarship. So that was fun. And now I play slow pitch adult league, and I coach my daughter's teams. I was coaching a little bit of travel when my sister was younger too. So it's my first love.
It's your first love, and you're still holding on to it and carrying it forward, which is cool too, huh?
Yeah. I think I even coached some softball camps over at Sierra College, and that was so fun.
It's neat to be able to transfer your knowledge of something that you had as a player or as a younger person and transfer it onto more youth, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's been really fun just to like inspire. That's the thing, like, right? Inspiring and motivating people to just find connection, I think, is what it comes down to. When I'm coaching like my little 6U team 2 years in a row now, it's not about, go. It's about like, how can I make this fun for them, and how can I make them fall in love with it as much as I did? So
yeah,
that's how it is with anything, right? Yoga, softball, anything that I do. So
anything that you do, you fall in love with. Kayaking, you're a kayaker.
It's like I forgot that I liked it, and I started going again. I was like, oh my God, it's so fun. It's just so relaxing, right? Even with my kids, like I've taken my kids and my boyfriend's son, and we're just out there, and I'm like, this is fun. We stop and snack, like let's adventure. Like we make it a fun adventure. It's cool.
Yeah, I think that the way that you see the world, the lens that you see the world from, is how you ultimately have experiences. And that's really what I get from you, Tori, is that you have this lens of openness. You're very much connected to people and very much open to trying things or retrying things. And that ultimately gives you the experience that you get. Will you talk about a little bit about your softball career and what you've taken from what you learned in your softball career and brought it forward into your life where you are right now?
Sure. I'm like, now you got me thinking. I'm like, oh man, I've learned so much. I'm like, oh, what should I say? What have I learned? Being part of a team sport, this all kind of like, it all comes together. It's all connected. Being in a team sport, having kids and doing all the things, it's about just like, you do your part, but you're also part of a bigger thing, right? So I learned early on that, like, just by observing and watching other teammates and other teams, when there's poor sportsmanship, I just can't stand it. I'm like, why are you acting like that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's unacceptable. And I get that like it might happen a couple times before you learn like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. So I'm like, it's fine. But that's one of the things I learned is like, if you're gonna make mistakes, so you're gonna make mistakes, you're human. So like you strike out, it sucks, like you feel like you let everybody down, right? But ultimately it's like a learning experience. Okay, well, that change up got me. Next time it's not going to, right? So just learning from your mistakes or things that didn't go the way you planned, right? So I think that's the biggest thing, is like working as a group, but also like taking taking what you're supposed to be doing and applying it to the bigger picture. Yeah.
Totally. I mean, it's kind of like that, right? You
It's like
can
life.
be the kind, yeah, right. If you, I mean, you could approach life like, oh, I got thrown a curveball and I missed it.
Lots of curveballs.
And now the rest of my life is messed up, or the rest of my day is messed up, or, oh, then
Yeah.
what does happen, I think, in reality and in sports and baseball and softball is that, that person strikes out 3 more times,
They're so
right?
mad. They're so mad.
They're in a slump, man. They get in a
But that's
slump.
the thing, right? But that's the thing. We it's not just a one-time thing. We get into slumps in
Hmm.
life, in sports. Shoot, sometimes I feel like slumps in parenting. You're like, oh my gosh, can't get it right today or yesterday or tomorrow. Like, it's like, so you almost have to just reset and just remember that we're literally human. Like we're not perfect. Right? What do we say? We're perfectly imperfect. Like that's true. We're we're just a learning experience after the next. So
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said in the form that we sent out that is really relevant to what we're talking about right now is that you said, I think the question is like, I don't know, why do you exist or something, but it said that you hope to inspire and create a safe space for others to feel seen and heard.
yeah.
And that you hope to help people realize that we're all perfectly imperfect human beings. And that's what makes us beautiful.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Are we done
It's
with the
like,
podcast? Then that was it, right? No, I'm just kidding.
boom. Yeah, mic drop, totally.
Mic drop.
But that's not so easy for people to understand. I mean, people have a hard time getting out of their own ways so that they can actually just be in the mess a little bit.
And like even
So,
as a yoga like instructor, practitioner, whatever you want to call it, it's like we speak it, and then we also have our bad days.
mm,
And then like how do we push it? We're just like anybody else. We're just also teaching it. So I'm just like that person having a rough day or that person having a good day. We're also going through it and learning and making mistakes, right? So
well,
just
and
put that out there.
yeah, your experience in softball brought you all these lessons and whatnot. But I mean, just in general, everything that's happened up to this point in your life,
Yeah.
would you say has brought you to this point of
Like what I've learned,
understanding?
even just like in my growing up, softball and all that stuff. Oh yeah.
I mean, what is it? What would you say that your background, like in relationship with your parents and growing up, had to do with where you are right now?
Yeah. So my parents actually had me at 19 and 20. They were young, didn't have a lot of
Wow.
money, right? Like just like growing up, like, you don't really remember your life up until the age of like, I don't know, 5, you start to remember little bits and pieces. But what I took from whatever I started remembering was they worked hard. My dad, I think he was like doing an electrician work. He worked with Boeing, with like aircrafts, like, it was just like things that made money, but he wasn't like career based or anything. And then he went to the police academy, he became a police officer when I was 9, because my sister was already born. And then my mom after that went into nursing school. So like they just made something out of nothing. Like they came from here and they're up here, and they just never stopped working hard, because I think, well, they're like, well, I mean, we had you guys, we had to, I mean, that's part of it, right? You kind of grow up and you have to work hard when you love what you've created for yourself and you want to create better, right? And so you work hard for what you want. So
Yeah, it's a good thing
that's
to
I guess
learn.
exactly how I am. I work hard for what I want.
Yeah, you're very gritty. Yeah, we were talking about it
You
pre-show.
were.
I was like, "Hey, man, you are a gritty person." I remember when I first met you, when you first started coming to the studio, you were there at 5:30 a.m. classes, just
Like
like you
every
were
morning.
today. Even if you like came in and you're like, got your mat down, like right on time, like you were
I'm always
there.
right on time. 1 minute late, whatever. I'm there. It
Yeah.
never changes.
But I can always count on you. It's like, okay, Tori signed up. She's going to be
I'll
here.
be
It
there.
might be like right on time. She's going to be there. And you were, and you could just like see what I know I keep saying what I love about you, but I do because of what I could see in your practice and what I see in what you're doing right now, which we'll get into in just a bit,
Okay.
is that you show up.
Mm-hmm.
And however you show up is you just embrace it and you move through it.
Yeah. I tell people that. I tell people what you see is what you get. Like I meet people now and I could be a lot or whatever you want people want to say. Like I'm passionate. I'm a big personality. I'm like what you see is what you get. Like I'm not fake. I won't do it. I don't know how to be fake. I'm not a liar. Like I can't do it. This is it.
No, that
So,
is good. That's a good
yeah,
place to
it's
be.
all good.
So using the tools that you've learned in yoga and in life through your experience, what would you recommend to people as a way to learn how to be like you? Just to show up as you are without trying to put on like some kind of a facade or trying to impress or anything like that. How would you use those tools to show up like Tori? What would Tori do?
Well, oh, I like that. I like that. What would
Or what more like what does Tori do? That's what I want to know. What does
it's
Tori do?
the last couple of years, I think as with most people, it's been rough. It's been rocky. I've learned a lot about myself. I did the work. I did the work. I journaled. I showed up for myself. And when things feel stuck, I do something different, right? So there was probably a period of time where I wasn't doing yoga for months, right? And I was like trying to find other things to do. And now I just realize that I mix things up. So I do a kickboxing class here. I do yoga there. I go for a walk. I go swimming. Like if you do the same things over and over again, what is that, like insanity or something like that? It works for some people. I'm not a very routine person. I need to change things up or I feel stuck. So my advice to people sometimes is like, what can you do different? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I did the work though. Like I've done the journaling and the meditating and the praying and the go to church. Like I go to church sometimes and I mix things up and I do what fills my cup, what fills my soul. So trying new things. That's what's done
Yeah.
it. That's what's done
I,
it.
lo- I love it. Trying new things. It's so good. Well, I remember when you were just starting to get really consistent and posting on Instagram and doing social media and building your following. And I was like, wow, this is impressive. She's on here consistently.
Thank you.
And, and I kind of like, we got busy with life and started
Yeah.
doing different things. And then I started looking at your stuff, 6 months later, 12 months later. And I'm like, wow, holy smokes. You started like, people are like flocking to this person. Um, and I know why. I mean, I personally know why I flock to you, but why would you say, and what would you say has been helpful for you in creating that successful business model that you're working on right now through your Instagram channels, through your yoga teaching, all that stuff?
I'd love to say like I just jumped right in, but you do know how much it takes for me to jump right in? Like
Mm.
it took a long I'm an overthinker, so it took a lot of like, should I do that? What happens if I do that? Right? So, I jumped right in. But basically it's just like recognizing that what I like to see online is like real, right? Genuine people. And so I was like, well, if I just share my experiences and what I'm going through and allowing people to understand that they're not alone in what's going on, like motherhood. I have a few motherhood things in there. We're silly, like we're so silly, and then with yoga, just like like it might be a pretty post, but there's always a good message. Like my captions are usually something from a journal entry or straight from my heart. Like it's real. So I think maybe that's what it is. And then with my business, that was an interesting journey too. It started with like I just was like community-based yoga in the park, donation-based, just show up, right? Just show up. And
Yeah.
people loved it. They came to the park and they're like, wow, this is amazing. And then I would like set up my table with my like 10 necklaces and like a handful of bracelets. And they were like, oh my gosh, I'd love to buy those. And then I just started making, and now I'm like doing events and country concerts. And because I just go for it, right? The overthinking, the planning, but like I just go for it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to that, right? I mean, the overthinking and the planning can be very beneficial, I
Yeah.
would say, because there's a level of intentionality about what it
Yeah.
is that you're putting out there.
Intention. Yeah, I agree.
Totally. You have intentional, right? Be intentional in creating the foundation of the
Yeah.
pose, whatever that is, whatever you're creating, be intentional, but then also there's a consistency, which I'm getting from you, and then relatability.
Relatability, of course. Yeah. That's where it's
Yeah.
at.
And then grit, because God dang it, you
I
could
love
like start,
that.
yeah, you could start something. So many people do it. I've done it thousands of times. I
Me
start
too. Me
something
too.
and then I stop.
I've done it. I mean, but right, but like you start it to see if you if it's for you. And if it's not for you, then you don't have to do it anymore. You tried it, right? I mean, it's not calling quit. It's not quitting. I've kind of come to the terms like I'm not a quitter. I've tried so many things and I feel like, I can never finish it. I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah, quitting, like, for me, like I think about if I was smoking cigarettes and I right, it's not serving me, and I just threw
Exactly.
the carton of cigarettes away. I'm like, all right, I quit.
I
But if
quit.
right, I quit. And you know what's
Not
funny,
for me.
Tori? Not for me. My grandma, I had two grandmothers named Jane. Mary Jane was one of them. One was Jane. And Jane, she passed away 13, 14 years ago, but she used to be a smoker. And I remember when I was younger, randomly, I said, Grandma Jane, how is it that you learned to quit smoking? And she said that she got a phone call one day and one of her friends had died from lung cancer. And so she took the carton of cigarettes and she threw it in the trash can and she never picked it up ever again.
Hey, Grandma Jane. I
Yeah,
love that.
yay for yeah,
Right.
but like makes me think too, like, it could be that easy
Yeah.
to just stop a stop habit.
Yeah.
Whoa, did that make sense? Stop a bad
I
habit.
I heard I picked up what you were putting down. But
Yeah.
you know.
And different than what you're saying is like, oh, if you're doing something and it's not working, or doing something and it's not, filling your cup like you've referred to today, it's like, oh, well, you just stop doing it and you move in a different way. You got a curveball that time. So like, hey,
Mhm.
next time
Everything
approach
is
it different.
softball. Everything.
Everything is softball. You
And
love
that's
teaching.
what's that?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say it's just funny because we're talking about like what doesn't serve you, right? Like it seems kind of cliche, but it's the truth. It is what it is. But that's the business name, right? Like I created my business and I finally gave it a name. I got the LLC recently, Beautiful Intentions and Wellness. And I have a sign and people are like, "Oh, I like your business name." And I explain it every time if somebody says that, I explain it. So basically we started with the mala necklaces, the very traditional, like 108, right? And then me and my mom, because my mom also makes the jewelry with me, we just started creating instead of counting beads, and it's more intentional when we're like, this just works. Like it's beautiful. This is exactly what we created. So it's more of like what calls to you is for you. So when people see one of our pieces, because they're all different, we don't duplicate anything. So when somebody sees something and goes, oh wow, I go, it's the only one. Like it's not, I'm not creating these pieces to get rich. I'm creating it because it does something for me. And so when somebody finds a piece, they're like, oh my God, this reminds me of my grandma, or oh my gosh, I love abalone. Like there's all these different reasons, hummingbirds and the color green, whatever it is, it's like they attach to it for some reason. I'm like, you have to have it. Like it's what's for you is yours. What's calling you is for you type thing. I love it. I love seeing people light up when they see something that's for them. It's so good.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's really neat. Will you say the name of your business one more time?
Yeah, it's Beautiful Intentions and Wellness. So, because I
Beautiful
have my yoga
intentions.
classes and things like that.
So it encompasses, okay, so there's the jewelry, the
Mm-hmm.
one of a kind jewelry, intentional jewelry, and then there's also yoga classes and
Yes,
workshops and
workshops,
retreats.
retreats. We do jewelry making classes, vision board workshops, journal meditation, private lessons or group parties. Like whatever you want, I custom it. So if you're looking for something, we can create something together. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's really great. And the best way to get a hold of you is through Instagram. And
Yes,
even if you're a Facebook user, you can get a hold of Tori too, right?
yes, that's for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'll put, for all of you that are listening, I'll put in the show notes ways in which you can get a hold of Tori through her Instagram handle or through her Facebook handle. And you'll have to get in there and check out her stuff.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Tori, I really appreciate you taking the time to be on the show today. I love doing these podcasts because it's a great way for me to reconnect with people who have made a difference in my life and who are making a difference in the community.
Yeah.
And you certainly are one of those people. I just now thought of something else that I want to mention about you real quick before we wrap the
Oh.
show up. You're like, whoa,
What are we
careful.
doing?
I love your hair.
Thanks.
That's it. No, it's way better than my hair right now, which is why I'm wearing a hat.
I had to put some water in it. I just did yoga, man. It was, I had to fluff it.
Had to fluff it up a little bit. Had to fluff it up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. You know that we have three people who've gone through our trainings in the last couple of years that Tori's referred to take our training. And
It lights me up. I love it.
yeah, I mean, what do you have to say about that? That's pretty amazing. I know like those people have been so consistent in their practice and you
Oh, I
just
got
saw something
goosebumps.
in them.
I got goosebumps because I know them personally, right? And I met them through other yoga studios. Because what some people, people listening don't know is I don't live very close to the studio anymore. So I visit sometimes, and so um, I live over there, and that's where I met them, at that yoga studio. And they came all the way here, or did online, to be with Spotted Dog because I recommended it and I loved it. And so watching them grow, like I'll check in on them, or I've met one for like, you know, dinner or something, and just hearing how they've grown, and how they're so inspired, and like what just who they are now. It's just cool to watch how they've just grown. It's fun. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, and to be that seed planter, to be somebody who actually planted the seed for somebody to get involved with a training program that changed their life, that's big time. You're doing some seriously great work, Tori.
You. I tell them too.
Yeah.
It's not about becoming a yoga teacher. I make sure I say this. It's something that will help you grow. You don't have to teach yoga after this. You just take it because I feel like it's needed for you in the moment that you're meant to take it. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
You know, it's similar to what you were saying about your necklaces or your jewelry. Is that like if there's, things have to fall into place for people to do trainings or for
Yeah.
people to end up at a certain studio or whatever it is you're doing, like life has a way of bringing those things and those people to you that you need in that moment.
Yeah.
And if you're aware enough, you can actually see them and make a decision to move in towards them. Where I think a lot of people kind of struggle is that they're not quite aware yet. They're not to that place where they're present enough to see all the opportunities that are right in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You few other questions for you. What do you love about Spotted Dog Yoga and SUP?
It's the community for me. It's fun coming back and seeing the same faces. It's like, oh, hi, it's been so long, but you still have that, like you were here yesterday. That's cool.
Yeah. Kind of like Cheers, that bar
Oh,
where everybody knows your name. It's
yes,
kind of like that.
it's kind of like that.
Okay. All right. And then how would you say in a couple sentences? I mean, we already got it from the podcast, but just to wrap it up, how would you say you play hard, Tori?
Oh, I play hard. Um, I'm just so active. I just love being a go-getter, right? So like making the jewelry, going kayaking, hanging out with my babies, my little girls.
And what are their names for the group?
Oh, Mila and Zayla. So Zayla's 5 and Mila is 6. They're
Wow.
so big now.
Crazy. They're growing up like that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then how do you love big? I mean, obviously they're tied together, right? Playing
Yeah,
hard and
we
loving
talked
big.
about this earlier, right? Like I'm passionate and I'm loyal to a fault. So no, I love big. I have a big heart. My people are my people.
That's certainly true. Well,
Yeah,
thank you for being one of our people and my people. Uh,
my people.
I
Thank
love you, Tori. You're awesome. We do,
you.
hey, for all you all listening, we do some really cool collaborations with Tori on our Instagram here and there. So look for her there. Also check in the show notes so you can follow her on Instagram and on Facebook. Play Hard and Love Big Radio is dedicated to bringing you the inspirational people and the inspirational stories that help you connect to your center so you can go out and live your fullest, most purposeful life. And Tori Turner, you have most definitely done that for us today.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being a part of our show. Hey, everyone, if you are listening, the only way we grow this show is through sharing the show. So share it with people that you know and love that you think you'd benefit from it. You can share it from Spotify, Apple, or any of the major podcast platforms. If you prefer watching it on video, you can also check it out on YouTube. This guy was streamed live. I'm pretty sure nobody watched, but so we have only 200 video viewers on YouTube, but maybe a million people are watching. You got to start somewhere.
Yes,
Anyway,
I do.
so yeah, check out our YouTube channel as well. And remember, Play Hard and Love Big Radio is the official podcast of Spotted Dog Yoga and Sup Shop based out of Folsom, California. Check us out at SpottedDogYoga.com. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much, Tori.
Thank you. Have a good day.